Hi, my name is Paige, and for this project I will be working with Ashtyn and Hailey, and our biomechanical topic that we got is linear kinetics, law of inertia. And so I'm going to be talking about the textbook definition that we found. And so what we found was there was a couple different aspects of it, so I'm just going to go over all of them. But the first part being that law of inertia is an object's tendency to resist motion. And then the next part is an object will remain in a current state of motion unless acted upon by an outside force. And then inertia describes resistance by motion related to the mass of an object. And the last part is that in order for an object to move, the inertia must be overcome. So that's our textbook definition. And then in the next clip, Hailey is going to be doing an example of what law of inertia looks like, and then she's also going to be talking about our definition of what law of inertia is.
So when we're talking about the law of inertia, this ball is going to stay at rest until a force is applied to it, and then it will move, and the speed of the ball or the direction of the ball will change only if a force is applied to it. So for example, if this soccer ball is just sitting here at rest, waiting to be played with, there's no energy in it, and the ball is going to stay there, it is not going to move. But when I walk up and I apply force to it with my foot and I kick it, the speed of the ball changes as it moves and the direction. It's going to go that way instead of just staying still.
Ahí para que pueda llegar Gareth Bale, rapidísimo Bale, corta la pelota a Gerard Piqué.
Ronaldo, 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 and now Tony said and now Ronaldo, and now la chance TV, Ronaldo.
So the law also says that when an object is in motion, it will remain in motion in a straight line or at a constant velocity. And the only way this changes is if other forces are acting on it, like gravity or friction. So another example of this law is that when you're standing in like a bus or a train or something, and it starts to move suddenly, you can like fall back a little bit. And it's because your feet are in contact with the floor of the bus, which comes in motion, but your upper body remains at rest due to inertia, so then you start to move backwards. And so another thing is that the greater mass an object has means greater inertia. So objects with a greater mass will take more force to change its current state of motion. So when an object is motionless, a force needs to be applied to change its state. And when a force is applied, usually the object will come to a stop because the applied force isn't the only force acting upon it. So this is why we can consider things like friction and gravity. So for friction, this is when two objects are touching each other, and friction is the thing that opposes the direction of motion. So with the soccer ball example, the friction from the ground makes the ball slow down, and it'll slow down little by little, and that's why the ball eventually comes to a stop, and also why it doesn't keep rolling forever. Gravity is also acting on it, which will obviously pull the ball down into the ground, and that's why it remains on the ground. So when the ball is still, this means all the forces are equal, and when the ball gets a force applied to it, all the forces become unequal, and that's why the ball moves. So that's why Newton's first law says an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted on by outside force.